I'm Stan Ellsworth. You might have heard me talking about history on American Ride. But today, I want to talk about the United States Constitution, how it came to be, why it came to be, and what makes the United States Constitution a revolutionary document even today. So throttle up, baby. Let's hear the story. Abraham Lincoln had led us through the Civil War. Somehow or another, he'd managed to keep the Union together. And at the end of the war, he had a particular plan for reconstructing the Union. It was generous. It was very open-hearted. In fact, in Lincoln's second inaugural address, he said to the nation, "Let us move forward with charity for all and malice toward none." Lincoln never got a chance to enact his plan. An assassin's bullet took his life. With Lincoln's death, Andrew Johnson, a Southern Democrat, became the President of the United States. And Johnson did all he could to enact Lincoln's plan of Reconstruction. But the radical Republican Congress that was in power at the time, they had a very different idea about how things should go. Their plan was vindictive. They wanted to punish the South. They painted Johnson as disloyal, almost a traitor. They impeached him and tried to remove him from office. What they accomplished was to make Johnson a lame duck president. And while Johnson was thus incapacitated, the Republican Congress went about enacting their own plan. They divided the South into military districts. They stripped Southern citizens of their rights to vote. And they occupied the South with Northern troops, as though the South had been a defeated foreign nation. Well, nobody wanted Johnson to be a president for a second time, not even Johnson. And when Ulysses Grant, the hero of the war, became president, he did his best to be fair with all the citizens. But even Grant couldn't overcome the will of the radical Congress. And the will of that Congress would inform the federal government for the next 40 years. But there were some things that started to happen that softened the situation, at least as far as the South was concerned. The economic panic of 1873 and the election of 1876 ended Reconstruction. And with the Northern troops going home and the Freedmen's Bureau bankrupt, well, the South was back in business. And it was business as usual. So how did Reconstruction really change the Constitution? Well, right off the top, we now know that the Union is perpetual. We solved that question by force of arms. Number two, Congress has changed the complexion of the voting public. You see, before the war, it was pretty much lily white. After the war, the freedmen have the vote. Whole new equation about how to get elected. And the radical Republican Congress would use that equation to create a one-party system in the United States of America, especially in the South. Congress would have more authority in government than even the chief executive, and it would last for almost 40 years until the coming of Theodore Roosevelt. TR loved that bully pulpit, and the bull moose swung a big stick. Join us next time. We'll talk about the amendments of the Progressive era.
Subscribe now. It's history with attitude and the American story with an edge.